Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Intelligent Community Forum's How to Create an Innovation District, part of our Innovation Agenda series. My name is Lou Zaccarella. I'm one of the founders of the Intelligent Community Forum, and I'd like to welcome you, whether it's evening where you are or morning. We know that you're here to learn about innovation in your community and how you can take the next steps with your innovation district or with your innovation corridor, or even if you're planning this. And so what we have for you today is a dialogue that will, we hope, enable this, because we've got two people from different sides of the world who have built an innovation district in their communities, and those districts are thriving. So we'll try to tell you how they got there, what the rationale is, how they invested in it, and where it goes from there, and what you can do, again, to do the same thing. I'm one of the founders of the Intelligent Community Movement and the ICF, as you know. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Intelligent Community Forum, let me give you a little bit of background on our mission and the work that we try to accomplish at the local level in cities worldwide. Our belief here at the ICF is that the middle of nowhere is no more, that any place that a human being calls home can be a great place to thrive, and that we have to understand, for the first time in human history, so far as we know, two conditions exist that never existed before. One is that a human being can live anywhere he or she wants, and the second one is that they can be connected to a global economy and a global bank of knowledge that will enable them to create wealth, to learn continuously, and to live as a citizen in a community, large or small, and to be able to create the kind of life that they want for themselves and their children in that place that they call home. So that's the basic philosophy and the mission of the ICF. We believe that broadband is essential to this, and so we try to understand, first of all, the underlying technologies that will enable it, and then we try to build on top of it. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward. The ICF is known primarily to many of you for our awards program. Each year we designate 21 communities as the Smart 21, and by the time we get through that process, we end up with the Intelligent Community of the Year. But any community that has been designated by the ICF is considered an intelligent community. And today we have a group of communities around the world that are recognized as those collaborating on economic and social development, again, in the places where they live. So to understand ICF, you have to understand that we believe the local, the community, is where the new innovation comes from in governance and in wealth creation and in social development. And we're trying to make the local level more perfect, and that those ideas then will rise up, and national governments and regional governments will become strengthened as a result of the work that these fascinating people that you'll hear later are doing. We are also a think tank based in New York, but with offices around the world. We study how intelligent communities use that information technology to build prosperity, to solve the thornier social problems and challenges that national governments struggle with, and also to enrich their cultures. We believe in activating cultures here because we think it has economic and social consequences that are positive. As I said, we're based in New York City. We're founded here, but today we have institutes throughout the United States. We have one in Ohio, we have another one in Mississippi, and we will be announcing another one in Asia shortly. We also have an ICF Canada organization that works north of the border here in the United States, where I am, to harness these ideas and to develop more intelligent communities. Overall, we've got 160 cities, metro areas, and counties, as well as towns and rural districts that have been designated as intelligent. We believe that size really doesn't matter, and that any community can take this step no matter where they are. And we've got intelligent communities on all 5 continents, and you'll hear from 2 different ones today. They range from 15,000 human beings to 8 million. So again, Today, the dynamics have changed. The big communities don't necessarily have the advantages. It's those with the ideas and the ability to implement them, like implementing innovation districts, that really counts and is how this game is going to be won. What do these intelligent communities do? What is their primary mission? Well, very simple. To use information and communications technology to build inclusive prosperity, prosperity for everybody in the community, and as I said, to solve those social problems, enrich cultures, and to deal with this age of digital disruption. We all understand that we're in a disrupted environment, socially, economically, politically, but it's always been like that to some degree. Today, however, we think we have the tools to harness this disruption into the creation of intelligent communities. So, what we're going to look at today is a very specific criteria that the ICF mandates of its communities. We have 6 criteria. The one we're going to be talking about today is innovation. There's a lot of talk about innovation. It's probably one of the most overused words in business, in government, and in cocktail parties around the world. But it is really, really important, and that's probably why it is used so often. What we're going to look at specifically, and what we look at ICF when we go out in the world and write our books and try to designate communities as intelligent, is an innovation ecosystem that is now at work in these intelligent communities. And this is an observation that we have made looking at those 160 places around the world. They all have, to some degree, a consistent program for an innovation system. It begins with the new natural resource, human knowledge and human intelligence, and the ability to harness it. And so the innovation ecosystem really begins at colleges, at universities, at the community level with the local government, with those people who, again, are thinking about how to move the community forward by harnessing the knowledge of the community. The communities and these organizations then mobilize, and in a more organized fashion, they begin to put programs in place. Most of them have hackathons or contests, again, to activate this intelligence. They have maker spaces. You will see them in most of the intelligent communities where we are. And these lead to the development of sometimes city-managed or sometimes private incubators and accelerators, because, again, in this economy, the ability to create new ideas and turn them into businesses quickly is what is essential. So the knowledge worker is working on a new type of factory floor, if you will, and they are called accelerators and incubators. These then lead to the startups, the gazelles, we hope, that will create the types of jobs and more than jobs, industries that we need to offset the absolutely disintermediating effect of robotics and technology on employment. So again, for every job you create, you're going to lose 2. Startups enable new industries, new businesses to be created by the hundreds of thousands. And that's where we need to go as an economy. Once they are up and running, once we have this system, risk capital pours in, it feeds them, and they try to get themselves to the size where they have some sort of an exit. And they either grow and exit, or they continue to grow in that community and exit that community to set up outposts in different parts of the world. And all of a sudden, you've got a new company in your hometown that is the one that replaced the old industrial company that was there for 50 or 60 years. So that's the concept. What we aim for in these innovation districts, in these communities, is that this becomes cyclical and that entrepreneurial reinvestment occurs. And so again, the startups that are created, that exit, that grow, circle back, and this process continues in reinvestment in that community. And again, no matter where you go, you see entrepreneurs in these communities reinvesting again, starting new types of companies, and a whole new culture is flourishing as a result. But you need a place for this to get done. And in places around the world, innovation districts are forming. In just about every intelligent community that, again, we visit, there is something like a place within that city, within those city limits, where innovation is taking place on a more planned basis. So you do have districts now that have a very, very specific mandate to harness this innovation, to harness this knowledge, to create the new factory floor, and so the outcome becomes the one that we all desire. The reinvigoration, in many cases, of a post-industrial town that's been decimated, and in some places, the creation of jobs that are new, that lead and create a pathway to the middle class. And of course, that all then stabilizes the culture. So we get social cohesion. And again, that's the holy grail of the intelligent community movement. So we move from smart to intelligent. We move from just technology to layering it to become these more holistic ecosystems. So let's talk about our agenda today and how this is going to flow. This is the innovation agenda of the intelligent community. We've been talking about this for a while now, and what we attempt to do is to have an ongoing dialogue with intelligent communities from around the world. Today we're just blessed to have two of them that we think are primary models in their regions for this concept of an innovation agenda and an innovation district. The first is a case study from Ipswich in Queensland, Australia. Ipswich has been one of our top 7 communities twice. It has been on the list of Smart 21 4 times. And under the leadership of a very, very visionary and driven mayor, Ipswich has taken advantage of the National Broadband Network in Australia and has harnessed itself to innovation and is doing some things that I think you'll be impressed by and learn from as we go forward. So we'll be talking to Ipswich. After that, we'll have a question and answers period. Once that period is done, we will go to Canada and to our Intelligent Community of the Year, Montreal, Quebec, and we will hear about their innovation district and what is happening in already one of the most creative cities on the planet to make this place not even more creative, but more sustainable economically because of its creativity. And again, I think you'll hear a terrific story of Montreal, maybe some things that you never thought about that are taking place in Montreal. And again, after that, you'll have time for questions and answers, and that is really going to be our agenda for today. Before I turn you on to our friends from Ipswich, let me just go through a few housekeeping details. All attendees, all of you folks, will be in listen-only mode, and from then we will open it up for questions. You will submit your questions using the questions panel. You will see it on your screen. It's on the control panel to the right of most screens. So you can submit those questions, and we'll feed those to the speakers. This webinar will be recorded and available on the ICF's website, so you can go to intelligentcommunity.org after this event if you can't stay for the whole thing, or if you want to send it along to colleagues, you will feel free to do that. If any of you are having any kind of technical difficulty, don't ask me because I can't help you. I'm no good at that. But you can call these numbers on your screen, and Citrix will certainly help you find your way back into this conference. Okay, with the housekeeping done, I'm going to turn now to our first speaker, and he is a good friend of the Intelligent Community Movement. He's joining us from Ipswich this morning, and we appreciate that, to talk about his innovation district, and in particular something called Fire Station 101. He's Matthew Schultz. Matt is the City Digital Officer of Ipswich City Council in Queensland. He's an experienced professional with over 2 decades in the IT and telecom, geospatial fields. He's done a lot of project management work and general management in the technical side. In his role as that City Digital Officer in Ipswich, he's responsible for a digital strategy that encompasses their smart city, data and infrastructure, innovation. He oversees startups, education, digital enablement, a whole lot of stuff that relates to the subject today. He also led the establishment of this Fire Station 101 project, and again, we tend to think that it is a model that other communities can be following. He's also responsible for the Ipswich Smart City Blueprint and the implementation of it, which seeks to entrench his city as, again, one of the most progressive and connected cities in a place, Australia, that has historically lagged behind in this area. And so, Matthew, I'm going to turn it over to you because you are one of the guys who is putting your country through the work you're doing in Ipswich on fast forward. Matt Schultz, over to you.
Thank you very much, Lou, and good morning from Ipswich, Queensland, Australia, to everyone that's participating today. You should be able to now see my presentation, so I'll move forward into it. So today, for sure, I'm talking about the Fire Station 101 Innovation Hub that we have created and has been a very rapid success for the City of Ipswich and to to move our innovation platform forward. Just to give everyone some context about the City of Ipswich and where we're actually positioned within Australia and within the state of Queensland. So we're immediately west of the capital city of the state of Queensland in Australia, which is Brisbane, and we have a current population of 197,000, nearly 198,000 people. But we're the fastest growing city in our state and one of the top couple of growing cities in Australia at the moment, due to a lot of greenfield development, a lot of space that we have in our city, and because we're right next door to the capital city and the coastal regions of southeast Queensland, we're very attractive for young families from an affordability viewpoint, but still can provide the proximity and also access to the infrastructure and technologies that people require in today's world. We're moving very rapidly to a large population of over 500,000 by the year 2041. So there's a lot of growth. But what's interesting for Ipswich is that we're actually getting younger every year, not older. So we're one of only 2 cities in Australia at the moment that is like that, that's actually getting younger and not older. Our current median age is 32, our state median age is 37, and 38% of our city is aged under 25. So Fire Station 101 is basically, we believe we've pulled it together at the right place at the right time for our city. We've built an inspiring workplace backed by state-of-the-art digital infrastructure, but development, there's been a rapid development and we've unearthed, I suppose, a latent demand within our city for entrepreneurs, innovators and people who wish to create a startup. And you'll see that by some of the figures and the results that we've been able to achieve quite rapidly. So really, what is Fire Station? It is a hub for our startups, entrepreneurs and innovators. We provide education, mentoring, connecting and access to funding. But what we've been able to do is very quickly raise the profile of entrepreneurship and innovation within our city, and even outside of our city. We've become a poster child, I suppose, of this particular model, which I will talk about later, for other Australian cities, both within our state and also interstate. We have created a lot of buzz about what we've been able to do very rapidly, and we do believe we have a model that can be replicated not just within Australia but also internationally. Really though, it is a foray into economic development, so we are concerned as a city about the jobs of the future, about the education and skill requirements that those jobs of the future are going to require. And we do need to create a talent pipeline for our city. because we fear if we don't make that foray into creating a talent pipeline into innovation, knowledge workforce development, STEM and creative aspects, that we fear that our economic future may not be so rosy for the large population that we'll be supporting. And of course, through what we're doing at Fire Station, we are looking to and have already fostered economic diversification. So as I've mentioned, just the problems that we are solving, or we have already, and we will still continue to solve through Fire Station 101 for our particular city and the wider region that we service. So as I've mentioned, we're very fast growing, and we've got the youngest average population in our state. Future job opportunities will be largely technology or science, technology, engineering, maths. You can throw in entrepreneurship and creativity into that mix as well. Very interestingly, without a formal place for Ipswich, which is Fire Station,
Hi, Matt. I'm sorry. We seem to be losing you.
and which had attracted. Is it fine now, Matthew?
Yep, it seems to have caught back up. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. Need to fix up the broadband in Ipswich. We'll continue to do that. $5,000 investment, a rather large population. That actually figures that isn't exactly true.
Okay, we're going to have to, unfortunately, Matt, interrupt you. There's something wrong with the audio. And, you know, obviously our broadband isn't perfect around the world. What I'm going to ask you to do is just to phone back in, and we should have a good connection when you do that. But I'll cover for you until you come back in, just to remind people that, again, you've got 190,000 people in that community, and it is growing larger. And the numbers, you know, are kind of significant in terms of the growth that's going to occur. And what he'll say when he comes back on is that that city is going to need to create 120,000 new jobs. And again, the idea that you can mobilize a district or, you know, an innovation hub to create that that kind of job growth is really the primary challenge that he's facing down there, and that again, when we hear from Montreal, you will hear as well. One story that I can share with you is that when we talk about the reinvestment of the entrepreneurs, what we see in places like Waterloo, Canada, are men and women who have started businesses there and are reinvesting in new areas such as quantum, and trying to create districts that incubate a lot of things that they can't even predict or control right now, so that they can put that lightning in the bottle someday. We can talk about that a little later, but Matt, you may be back with us, are you? Matt Schultz?
Yes, I am, Luke. Can you hear me?
We can. Sorry about that. You're back on.
No problems. Thank you. Apologise, everyone, for that. Basically,
Matt, go ahead.
Everything's fine. You can hear me fine, Luke?
You're good. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you there. You're,
No.
It's all yours. Show's yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll move through this very quickly. Basically, the problem was that we needed to develop a sustainable and innovation startup and entrepreneur ecosystem. So we created a physical hub in our disused fire station, named it Fire Station 101. Commenced operation at the beginning of this year, 8th of March. and our emphasis is to grow and scale via a membership model, entrepreneurs, innovators, and the creation of startups for the city of Ipswich in our region, and through the development of a core ecosystem, which includes our members, mentors, investors, partners, and volunteers and interns. So very quickly, since that time, since March, and here we are in the beginning of December, we have 62 startups that have become members in just 9 months. So we've moved from just over a year ago, 5 identified startups in our city, to now 62 just in Fire Station, and another 40 in a new hub called Little Tokyo 2 that opened in August in Springfield, which is another part of Ipswich. We're acquiring members at 1 to 2 new members per week, and through those members we've created 15 new companies, secured seed funding. Certain companies have created virtual reality experiences for major companies in Australia. We have 4 companies who are already achieving their first paying customers. Certain companies are delivering innovative things, 198 technology kits delivered to young people. We've run a program to train or to mentor 4 new young entrepreneurs in a pilot program in a single high school that we now want to replicate across the city. We're launching prototypes. In Fire Station is one of the most extensive virtual reality / augmented reality studios in our state. One of our developers has created through his VR game startup a prize trip to the E3 Games Expo in LA earlier on this year. We have 2 companies through Fire Station that are in the application stage for the Shark Tank TV show, the Australian version of Shark Tank, which we're probably a few of us are aware of. And we're driving the continual interest and activity through a program of events. We're running 2 to 3 events per week, and already we've delivered over 100 events in Fire Station. Just on screen here are some of our members, some of our startups that are already looking to grow, scale and expand, and you never know, one of those you may see in an international market at some point. Just very quickly, we have developing the continual forward strategy. This year, the year of 2016, was very much about create, but we're building next year, 2017, into the build phase, 2018 the grow, and 2019 the scale, sustain, or potentially sale. When I say sale, is that we're the only, in Australia, the only city council, local government-led innovation hub of its type. There is no other council in Australia who have fully owned and operate a innovation hub or startup hub like Fire Station 101. So we are seeing what the market within our city does, and if it makes sense for us as a city council to exit our market if we've seeded the correct development environment, and we'll just see how that goes into 2019. So into next year, we'll be looking to continue to build the ecosystem, continue to deliver member outcomes, deliver community outcomes, develop the innovation pipeline, and inspire innovation leadership. So that's our forward strategy. Very quickly, we are also building a wider Ipswich innovation ecosystem with a range of partners across the city and the wider region. And how we're looking to do that is we're looking to create the places within the wider city and region to drive and spur innovation. We're looking to develop the various communities of practice. We're wanting to provide the connectivity that's required to provide a sustainable and ongoing linkage between the different players that make up our innovation ecosystem. We're looking to continue to drive and provide the tools to drive collaboration across our city and our region, and provide the leadership that's required. So what Fire Station has done, everyone, it's basically very rapidly put Ipswich on the map, definitely nationally, from our innovation, startup and entrepreneur leadership position. And we now have among the highest ratio of startups to our population in any city in Australia, and that's been done in just over a year. Pretty much simply by providing a place where we could tap into the demand that I knew was there, and other people within the city knew was there, but they didn't have a place to actually go and follow their dreams and develop their opportunities. So that's definitely what we've done at Fire Station 101. My details are there. I'm the City Digital Officer of Ipswich City Council, and I'm very, very happy through Lou and the ICF to take on any questions now, but also field any questions after today's seminar. So apologies for the technical difficulties, but thank you, and that's the end of my presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, and you know, your accent made up for any difficulties. People just enjoy listening to it. Very, very impressive. Quick results, actually, because you guys haven't really been around a long time with that project. So again, that's a very good snapshot of what's possible, racing out to create over 60 new companies. We're running a little behind, but if anybody has questions, they can submit them now, and we'll get them over to Matt. And as he said, you can certainly contact him, or you can even contact him through ICF. But Matt, I had a couple of questions, a couple of quick ones. I think people out there want to know what the role of the city was in enabling this. Now, I happen to know, because we've studied you guys, that you were directing the National Broadband Network, the new high-speed network in the country, 2 locations in the city, working with the real estate community, so that in the first stage here you would have the proper amount of connectivity so that this place could at least, you know, be near enough to the railroad to be able to load its cargo, so to speak. Is that accurate? Was the city involved that way, or was it even more extensive?
Look, absolutely, Lou. The city has driven both the NBN rollout, pretty much what I would call the accelerated NBN rollout, because, as you know, it's a national program, but we were very proactive to ensure that it got to the city early, and through that, and with the work that we've done in our new development areas, making sure that the connectivity largely was there as the city grew. For Fire Station 101, it is positioned in an area where there is full fibre to the premise infrastructure. So we're actually running off dual gigabit capable FTTP connectivity, which is very well, just basically it's required. It wasn't a wish for us to do that. We needed to do that to ensure that Fire Station had the grunt to provide for its members, and through the place we've got very high density Wi-Fi that's connected back to that dual gigabit capable NBN fibre. So yeah, look, it's all been very much led and curated by the city, because we feel that we couldn't wait for other partners to do this. If we wanted to build this for the city of Ipswich, the city very much proactively gets out there and drives it forward.
Right. We're getting a bunch of questions coming in, Matt. I can only take 1 or 2, and they've got to be, unfortunately, kind of quick answers, but someone wants to know how you funded the Fire Station 101 project. Yep,
so fully funded by Ipswich City Council, a council-owned company that Ipswich City Council is the single or sole shareholder in. So fully funded both from a renovation viewpoint of the fire station and also the fit out and the creation of the business model. And then obviously from an operational viewpoint, we are still funding it. We've made a multi-year commitment, and we are seeking partnerships with the Australian national government and also the Queensland state government, which are underway.
So that answered one of my questions and another one here. So is it a multi-year commitment, or does it have to be visited with each budget season?
Well, look, obviously from a city council viewpoint, we are, very much keeping, an eye on the objectives and the momentum that we're creating versus, the cost of the facility. But there has been a multi-year commitment made under the life of that forward strategy. So we will be, the city will be backing Fire Station 101 at least till 2019.
Okay, very good. Geez, I get a bunch of questions here, but maybe I can circle back and ask them of both you guys, because I want to get to Damien as well. My apologies for that, Matt. We're just running a little bit over, but
that's fine, Lou. That's due to the issues, mate. So not a problem at all.
Terrific presentation. And one question to think about, and we can circle back on it, is this area of collaboration with your post-secondary institutions, because we're getting a lot of questions on how that occurs. And I think collaboration is certainly an important piece of this. Well, speaking of collaboration, few people do it better than the folks in Canada. And I'd like to now turn to our second presenter and go to Montreal. Montreal was our Intelligent Community of the Year in 2016. They achieved at a very, very significant level for a lot of different reasons based on our 6 criteria. One of the chief reasons was an innovation district project called the Quartier de l'Innovation, and that's a literal innovation ecosystem in the heart of Montreal that aims to boost the city's potential for creativity. It was launched in 2013 by academic institutions there, and it has continued to go forward. The gentleman who's going to talk to us about this is a terribly interesting man. He's their executive director at this innovation district. His name is Damien Silas, and a wide-ranging background from international trade to a passion for music. Probably a perfect person with both the creative and the practical side to put together a massive innovation district. And again, as I said earlier, in one of the world's most creative cities. And so I'd like to turn this over now to Damien Silas. Damien is the executive director, as I say, of this project. And Damien, thank you for your patience, and welcome to the Innovation Agenda.
Bonsoir. Hello.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
So I'm going to try with my French accent to explain to you what we are doing in Montreal with the Quartier of Innovation District. I'm going to use Innovation District. It's easier. Okay. So I'm going to Okay. Can you hear and see?
Oui.
Okay, perfect. So thanks a lot. It was actually a very interesting presentation from Australia. I'm going to try to do the same in Montreal, Canada. And as you say, Louis, the Innovation District was born 2 years ago. I will say 3 years ago, in 2013. And what is very interesting, University McGill and ETS, École Technologie Supérieure, Engineering School of Montreal, decided to try to do something, I will say, different. As I said, it's an international trend about the innovation district around the world, and I will say we came in the last maybe train, and we're trying to do something interesting and something different. And so that's why the two universities decided to do a benchmarking of what is going to be the best around the world and how it's possible to use in Montreal to do something very, very different. So they decided to do 3 years ago Innovation District of Montreal. And what is interesting, I will say we want to be an international laboratory of urban experimentation. And what is very, very interesting, it's a university desire. It's not the political desire at the beginning, of course. And what is very interesting, it's the fact that it's possible to have a unique district and to be able to have three things totally different. The first, I will say, it's to be able to have a unique ecosystem in the heart of Montreal, downtown Montreal. The second thing, it's not a political, but it's a university decision, and that's why it's very, very important. It's I will say, when it's a political decision, I mean, you have to wait the election to be able to see what is going to be the next step. And when it's university, it's more, it's not political. And so it's possible to see something very interesting. And the third things, the definition that we have with innovation is not about technological stuff. We have 4 pillars, and we train to do experiences. We train to do some, I will say, events about industrial, urban, educational, and research, and social, cultural project. And what is very interesting, the idea is to be able to give a place to the human being in innovation. So what we're doing to do right now, we have 4 universities, part of the District of Innovation of Montreal, McGill, ETS, Concordia University, and UQAM. And what is very interesting, it's more than 150,000 students, teachers, and researchers ready to invest and to work together. And what we want to do is to be able to keep the talents in Montreal and to see how, with startups, with students, and with the private sectors, it's possible, and citizens, of course, it's possible to keep, to find a way to make experiences with innovation. And what is very interesting, it's my board is from the private sectors, and for them it's very important to, I will say, democratize and humanize innovation, and to be able to do examples and to show how it's possible to stay together and to have the population inside this project, and so that's why it's important. And what happened in this area? As you know, maybe Montreal is the first city in Canada with the numbers of students of university. We have more than 230,000 students. The first city is Boston, the second is Montreal. So what we want to do is to be able to keep the talents. It's to be able to give to the young generation a playground to do to have fun and to be able to have the qualité de vie, quality of life, and to be able to use the playground as a playground to be able to make project and to be able something. So in this area we have 6 billion of invest of the real estate, and what we want to do is to see how with the new city and the new investments, it's possible to make innovation as the first, I will say, the first idea and the first example of the city. And so my goal is to be able to have, in the same time, the possibility to use the student, the private sectors, the citizen and to speak about innovation. So we are right now, I will say, a place where it's possible to sleep, where it's possible to eat, to work, and to live. We are not an industrial area, we have a living area. And what is very important, it's the way that the people have the possibility to be included in this development. So right now we have more than 12 incubators and accelerators in this area. And what is very important, we are, I would say, partners with them. And half of the 12 incubators and accelerators are from the university. But we, speaking about the green technology, the video games technology, we're speaking about application technology, social and cultural technology. And the idea is to be able to, I'm not going to say to use the people living, but to ask to them to be part of this project and to use the application and the project that we're doing. So it's not easy because we are going to try to do some project and some huge project. And 2 months ago, we launched a very interesting project. Actually, I will say the first in Canada, and it was IoT, Internet of Things, a project with Ericsson Canada and Videotron. It's a communication companies in Montreal and in Quebec. And the idea is to be able to create the first playground, I will say, in Montreal, an open-air smart living lab with the possibility to have, I will say, the tools to give to the students, to the citizens, and to the private sectors to come play and to come try the new generation of Internet of Things and the new 5G technology that we are going to give to the people. So it's an open space, it's a way to keep the talent in Montreal, and above all, the way to humanize the technology. And it's not just technology side, it's about the cultural and the social side. And so we launched that 2 months ago. The second thing, I will say it's the concrete initiative, it's NeoShop Montreal. We are going to launch in 2 weeks, so if you're in Montreal, it's possible to come to see us, the first innovation boutique in North America. And the idea is to show a platform, I will say, of the know-how of the startup of Quebec. And we want, when I say how it's possible to integrate the human being in the innovation sectors, we are going to show between 30 and 40 products made in Quebec of the startups. I will say the all startup is a new company because we are not going to speak about prototype. We are going to speak about a company who has the capacity to produce. And we want to show, we want to have an address here in Montreal to show the best of the best and to give to the startup a place to have a way that the people, the citizens are going to come, an address, to come to see, to touch, to comment, and to buy, of course, a product and new products. And it's very interesting because we're doing that with Europe, with France, and Spain, and Ireland, and Scotland, sorry. And what we want to do is to make a place when it's possible to democratize innovation and not just to keep for sectors of the population, sectors of people. We want to show, we want to have an address when the people are going to come and to see what happened in innovation. So we have, I will say, between 400 and 500 startups in this area. We want to give to them a place to be able to show something very concrete about innovation, and it's going to be open with a pop-up store 16th of December. So if you're in Montreal, come on to see us. And in the same times, we are going also to open a digital platform. What we want to do is to be able to have a place for the world, I will say. If you want to see what happened exactly in Montreal, it's possible to go to this digital platform and to have all the information of the startups. So what we're going to do, we are going to have by sectors and by categories the startups that working right now in Montreal. In an example, in robotic, in cultural side, it's possible to know exactly what happened. And what we want to do, we want to begin with this area, Innovation District, and after that to do that in Montreal, but to be able to work with our partners, the incubators, the accelerators, and each 2 months they're going to see if the startups are going to work, and if it's possible to work together, and it's possible to have all the information. As you know, the problem with the startups, 40 to 50% after 6 months are going to die. So the idea is to be able to have a new information. So we're working with our partners to be able to have data of all the ecosystem of startup that we have. And of course the benefits is to be able to create technological, social and cultural company employment opportunity, increase collaboration between university, citizen, and of course the private sectors, attraction, development, and revitalization of an area. So I will finish with my presentation to say the most important things to do is to see how it's possible to find an equilibrium between innovation and between people who are living, working, who studying in this area. And we have more than 40 projects right now, and what we want to do is to be able to join people and to be able to join all the generation between 7 to 97 years old, and to see how it's possible to have a society when it's possible to have a place for everybody. And it's our goal, and we are very, very happy because 4 months ago we have the chance to have the prestigious periodic Le Monde, the newspaper Le Monde, Grand Prix of Urban Innovation. So what happened? They decided to choose Montreal as a place to invest and to stay in Montreal. And what we want to do, and I will finish with that, is to be able to keep talent and to give a possibility to everybody to have a place to be able to innovate, to be able to have help, to have to have the possibility to create the own startups and the own private companies in Montreal. So it's not easy, but we're trying to do what we have and what we can, and you can see our website and Facebook also what we're doing right now. But what we want to do is to be able to find an equilibrium between innovation and between citizen and the population, and not just to keep that for special sectors and private sectors. We want to be able to share with everybody. So thanks a lot. If you have any question, we'll be pleased to answer. Thanks.
Damien, merci beaucoup. That was wonderful. And there are plenty of questions coming in, so we have them. We just don't have the time to answer them all. But a couple of things I just wanted to point out is, you know, city employees are big attendees of open data innovation events that take place in that district. You have a couple of incubators there. One of them, I believe, has a 65% survival rate for the companies that graduate from the program. I mean, there are all kinds of different virtues that are crossing the various disciplines in a community, the academic, the government and the private sector, which again is what I know you're striving for. The questions that are coming in revolve around sort of the three themes that you established. One was collaboration, another one was this real important one of keeping the talent, and then this idea of creativity. Anybody who thought Montreal was already creative now knows that it's not, doesn't think it's creative enough. It's continuing. But the idea of collaboration, a lot of questions came up about that. One of them was that collaboration among those 12 incubators must be complicated and organizationally a hard thing to achieve. And so they asked the question, do you have an overall coordinator for the process? And if so, how is it organized, funded, and how do you referee, so to speak?
Okay. Of course, I have someone in my team who's working with the connection with the 12 incubators. And yesterday we had with Ericsson Canada, we calling that QE connection. And what is a QE connection? It's the way to not to speak but to act. And yesterday we have 10 startups where the capacity and the possibility to present 5 minutes the project that they're doing about the clever city. And it was around the world with Ericsson network. And the idea was to be able to show the know-how of Montreal and the possibility to be able to do a concrete project, and also to be able to have results. When I'm going to ask to 10 startups to come to speak about the product that they're doing, the idea is to be able to make connection and to do business with them. And I'm speaking about Ericsson, but 3 weeks ago we did exactly the same with fashion in Montreal. And so I had 10 startups who came and to explain the project. So the idea is to be able to ask to the startups and to have the help of the incubators to show in French we say savoir-faire, know-how, and to come to play with us and to be able to do business together. And so that's why we create the QE connection. It's about the fact that it's possible to ask between different topics, to ask to the network of incubators and accelerators to come and to make selection of the best of incubators and of startups, and to come to make an elevator pitch for 5 minutes to different companies. And so it's possible to do something concrete when you are going to be able to do business together. Otherwise, it's going to be words, and we don't want to have words, we want to act together.
Yes, and again, I think that's a really important point, and that leads to the thing about the item of fun. We don't necessarily associate our governments with enablers of joy and fun these days, especially not where I live. But having said that, this idea of creativity having as a requirement the notion of a certain freedom of mind, we would call it fun as adults, it seems to be part of the structure and the philosophy. And one of the questions that came in was, what is the city's role here in this enabling this experience to take place? How active is the city in this?
Good question. We're working with the Smart City of Montreal. We are part of the team, and we want to be able to give answer of the private sectors, of the university sectors, of the question of the city. Right now, with Innovation District, I will say we have 60% of the financial help is coming from the private sectors, and 40% is coming from the public sectors, national, provincial, and municipal sectors. We have to work together, but the idea is to be able to find, and what I said in the beginning, and it's very important, it's what is the interesting thing in Montreal. We have more than 200,000 students And so the idea is to be able to use them and to keep the talent and to be able to be part of the city and the challenge of the city or about the smart city. And that's why it's very interesting. It's not just the private sectors. We have to find an equilibrium between the university. We have 4 universities in Montreal. We have 3 private schools in Montreal, HEC, Polytechnic School and ETS School. And the idea is to be able to use the know-how of Montreal, the possibilities to use the people who are living in Montreal to be able to work together. I mean, it's very easy to say that. It's not so so easy to do, but we have the chance to have the playground to do that, and that's
and
why.
let me interrupt you, if I can, because you raised a good point. And again, there's a lot of questions coming in on this. I'm going to have to close it on this question, but they seem to be recurring. The startups, you know, the idea of keeping talent, that's the theme that people are asking about. The question is, what happens to the startups funded by investors from abroad? Do you find that they are generally remaining, or, you know, as often happens, we see them moving to Silicon Valley or London or where I live in New York? Is there a ratio where you're able to keep the startups that is coming from that foreign investment?
It's a very, very good question. Actually, what we're doing right now is to be able to keep the know-how. It's possible to keep you know, the motivation of my work right now is to be able to have contact with startups and to see what they're doing. Actually, they create the new 21st century. And what is a problem right now is to be able to have an answer of governments about what they're doing, what doing the private sectors and the startups. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm using the electrical bike right now, and it's just amazing. But the government has need sometimes to be able to have law, to be able to say, okay, it's a bicycle, it's a motorcycle, etc., etc. And I will say, what is right now the problem is to be able to have the answer of governments about innovation, because in French we say Uberisation, Uberization of the society. We have the chance to see a very interesting project, but how it's possible to see, how it's possible to have the same answer of the law of the governments, provincial, federal governments about what happened right now. And I will say that it's the Céline Dion problems. I mean, you have to be very well known outside of the country before to be able to know and to be well known in our own country. And we have plenty of startups that they have amazing product, and what we're trying to do right now is to be able to see how it's possible to use in Montreal, in Quebec, in Canada. And sometimes it's very difficult because politicians and doesn't have the same speed of the startups communities. But we're working together, and actually we are very happy because they answer together, and we're trying to do international laboratory. But between the words and the fact, it's not so easy. It's not
no, it isn't. But it's an enormously ambitious vision. But again, as a French-speaking culture, there are markets out there, and the idea of a global living laboratory is certainly, again, we think the way the intelligent community movement is going. Damien, there were a million more questions, and what I'm going to ask is the same thing that we asked of Matt, is that if we can forward you these questions in written format, could you write answers to them? Because we'll then put it up as a blog, and we'll email it out to the people who are listening today. Can I twist your arm into doing that as well?
With pleasure, of course.
Okay, thank you. I'll twist your arm, and we've got Matt's already twisted. Damien, thank you very much. Damien Silas, for participating. There's a lot more information about Montreal on our website, but certainly they can contact you through ICF as well. Bonsoir, monsieur. Merci beaucoup. I want to now finish this presentation, and again, I can not do justice to what those two folks did, but I do want to thank them. And just to let you know that on January 17th, there's going to be another one of these. And so if you like this one, or you weren't able to attend all of it today, we're going to be talking about the connection between education and innovation on our Innovation Agenda webinar. And that's, again, 17 January. You come to our website, you get the information, or if you're on our distribution list, you'll get it. In 2017, we'll be heading in February to Taiwan because now that we've got our Smart 21 named, we have to name 7. And we'll be doing that in Taipei on February 9th. There will be a conference that will talk about some of these issues that you heard about today that day. And you are welcome to attend as a guest of the 2006 Intelligent Community of the Year Taipei and the ITRI organization. So if you do want to attend, let us know, and we'll make sure that you're invited to that event. ICF will also be making a very big announcement that day, so in addition to the top 7, so we hope you'll attend. And finally, if you want to learn how your community can become an intelligent community, if you want to meet people like Damien and Matt, they will all be in my hometown, the great city of New York, where we're bringing our summit back after 2 successful years on the road, June 6th through the 8th. We'll be here in New York City. Our theme will be the Internet of Cities, not the Internet of Things. We're about people, so it'll be the Internet of Cities. And we encourage you to come and see us in New York and be a part of 3 days of a really, really fun experience. We have a sign-up list for that on our website. The registration will be going live in a very, very short time. So again, I want to thank the people who participated today. I want to thank our producer, Matthew Owen, for putting this webinar together for us, as he does all the time. And on behalf of the co-founders of the Intelligent Community Forum, Robert Bell, John Young, and myself, our ICF Foundation and its board of directors, our institutes around the world, and anybody who's working really, really hard to make the place they call home a real home for a long time, we salute you, and we sign off for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.